Welcome to BISP Solutions. I hope everyone is doing fine. So today we'll be discussing just as a prelude to Oracle ARCS cloud service, as in what is account reconciliation, then what is ARCS, and just the overview of how do we actually work on our Oracle ARCS. So let us start our today's session. Oracle ARCS is a purpose-built solution in the cloud for managing and improving global account reconciliations. It provides a real-time visibility into the performance of reconciliations and ensures that all reconciliations so prepared are properly qualified. It actually integrates the account reconciliation process into the financial close. It helps streamlining the whole reconciliation process, provides a workflow for productivity, and enables the rules-based thresholds for automated certifications and risk assessments. So before we just go down to Oracle ARCS, we need to just understand as in what is account reconciliation. I'll just give you an overview about what is account reconciliation. Account reconciliation is basically a business process in which the transactions of your financial accounts of your organization are compared against any statements that are provided by the third party, or maybe within your organization, two accounts are compared, two balances of the accounts are compared, and this is done just to validate your accounts so as all the entries that have been passed are actually correct or not, and everything that is present in your financial statements is true as per your knowledge for the purpose of presentation. Now, there is one thing that account reconciliation's purpose is to find any errors that or any problems that are basically occurring in your financial activities, that are your operational or financial activities. Now, there is one thing under account reconciliation, that it is a regular process. You need to reconcile your accounts at regular intervals. Usually in most of the companies across the globe, be it small, medium, or large enterprises, reconciliation is performed at regular intervals. If it is a large organization, they can have bi-monthly or weekly reconciliation of certain accounts and monthly reconciliation of the others. But a very basic reconciliation trend that is followed in, across the industries across the globe is that you perform reconciliation month over month. That is, at the end of at the close of every month, you perform the reconciliation so as to find any discrepancies or wrong entries, any errors, or be it not the errors also, but just to get a picture of your financial position, as in where are you standing at that point of time in your business. So this is why account reconciliation, and what is account reconciliation. So as I've informed you, that account reconciliation is a manual, is a process that is performed month over month. There across the globe, there has been a research which actually shows that the account reconciliation process, which is performed by all the companies across the globe, it under that, since it is performed manually, 60% of the companies perform this account reconciliation manually, and hence it is a time taken task. It is one of the most prevalent reason for the delay in your closure processes. And if I see it in real time, it is actually a real time taking task, which you are actually performing from the email spreadsheets. If I'm performing a account reconciliation on spreadsheets and email, since I'm performing it manually, lot of my human resources are deployed for the reconciliation processes, and most of the time is taken or is gone for the human resources of my company to perform this reconciliation process. So if I just see it practically, at the end of every month on the 30th, my month closes, and human resources of, let's say, especially for the finance department or the accounts department, next 10 days of the month go under the reconciliation process only. So if on practical basis I'm looking, my financial team is only working for 20 days on any other productive activities, whereas on 10 days or 10 to 15 days also, sometimes it is 10 to 15 days, mostly 10 to 15 days of my financial team is going into performing this reconciliation task, which is, if I'm seeing, half of the time of my financial team goes into reconciliation process that is performed month over month. It's not a one time in the your task, it is month over month task. So my financial team puts in 10 to 15 days into that reconciliation process, and the other 15 days are only used of my financial team. My intellect of my financial team is only used, the productivity is only used in any other important tasks. So as you can see, it is a waste of money, also waste of time, and waste of your waste of the intellect of your human resources. And as I've informed you, there has been a research that 60% of the companies across the globe. So let's assume 60% of my financial executive, financial experts, they put their time into the reconciliation tasks that are performed month over month. And this is one of the major concerns of manual reconciliation, the major concern of most of the companies, because there is also closure in the delay in the closure also. When I have to close the month books, I am facing a delay because it is a manual process. People are performing, anything happens, the balances are not matching. I do not have all the resources that I have, that I want for the purpose of reconciliation. So this is one of the reasons for the closure delays that I face, or most of the companies face. Now, as you can see, these are the challenges that I am facing, or that usually most of the companies are facing across the globe. Like, it is a manual process, so I've informed you most of my human resource time is gone for the performance of my reconciliation. Then at times, let's say I'm a multinational company, it takes time for all the spreadsheets to be available when I'm performing the reconciliations. If I'm in MNC are performed at one place, so I need all the information for the purpose of performing my reconciliation. So at times it may happen that all the information that I require for the purpose of closing the accounts or closing the books for the month, or winding up the books for the month, they might not be available. And that can also increase the time that is taken in performing the reconciliation. Then I can have audit issues due to the reconciliation, because reconciliations are performed, audit is done. If the reconciliation is not performed, audit will not be fruitful. If I am conducting the audit, then I have a lack of control. As I've informed you, if I was in MNC, and let not be an MNC, if I'm a domestic company also, then the control that I have over the whole process is not as much, because it is a manual process. And everyone is human, error can be there when I am performing any task. Chances of errors are always there. So I cannot control, or I cannot mitigate certain issues that I can face when humans are performing my reconciliation process. Then the visibility is, of course, limited. One reconciliation takes one account, a single account reconciliation on an average for a person to perform in a medium-sized company also is around 1 to 2 days are gone into the reconciliations process. So the visibility is quite low. I'm performing a single account reconciliation, then I'm switching on to the next account, and hence, sorry. And if I have a finance team of 20 people, 20 people are assigned different accounts or different reconciliations to be created. So the visibility of what is doing what, because one account is dependent on the other. So the visibility is quite low when I'm performing my manual reconciliations. And then at the end of the day, I've got security issues. It might happen that certain reconciliation shall be performed by certain certain personnel only. Not all can perform all the types of reconciliations. Let's say I have a cash and bank reconciliation. Cash and bank reconciliation contains quite certain informations that only a high level authority or a high level finance person should have. So the security issues are always there when a reconciliation is performed. This is just an example of the regular reconciliation that is performed. And there can be immensely other challenges also. These are the challenges which usually people have seen. Now, let's say if I am having, there might be people who are used to performing the reconciliation with the use of Excel spreadsheets. So the change, there might be a resistance towards the change, saying that why Excel sheets or Excel spreadsheets, we are being using them since so long, we are able to perform it, it is easy, and there are so many things. But we need to understand, as we are growing, as the generations are growing, technology is also advancing with the generations. Technology is required to eliminate both in transforming the way accounting and finance work, and it only seems actually logical to just automate these labor intensive tasks so that they are not uh, error prone. No error is performed while I am performing these accounting reconciliations, so that I can verify they are accurate, I can verify that, I can validate. There are only those people performing the reconciliations who are authorized to do that. So Excel based procedures actually result in a lack of consistency, disjointed systems that lead to audit and management concerns. These are the concerns that most of the companies actually face with the Excel spreadsheet. But since we have been customized to do that with the Excel spreadsheet, so everyone thinks it is okay to do that. But when I have got such a good technology to use that, so most of the companies want that there should be a technology, there should be a way where these labor intensive tasks can be decreased, and my forces can be deployed over some productive tasks. And the errors that are usually performed, I can just mitigate the risks. And after I have come over the challenges also, let's say I have just come over the challenges, I've got the challenges also, uh, there are compliance requirements that are increasing at a very high rate across the globe, be it any country. Mostly all the countries are getting the compliance requirements at their highest, with so that the statements, the reconciliations, or whatever the balances, the statements are that are provided are fairly, and they have the least amount of any material misstatement, so that the material misstatement can be mitigated, and all of these. So the compliance requirements are also increasing across the globe. Over 95% of the finance experts believe their compliance burden will either increase in the coming years or may not increase. At the minimum, it is not going to diminish. With now, when I am transforming from an Excel spreadsheet or my normal reconciliation of performed manually, when I am transforming to an cloud-based application, ARCS, that is Oracle ARCS, companies can achieve a quick, smooth close that can actually give them a competitive advantage, because now the accounting and finance department can deploy the resources towards high value activities such as analytics. They can problem solving, analytics, and all these can be the ways where my human resources for the finance department can be deployed. So as you can see here, there is a just small case study of one of our clients. He's got a departmental store in Mexico, in Culiacan, Sinaloa, which offers a wide variety of useful, attractive categories of products and services, and they are gathered from different brands. So as you can see, there is a business these are the business challenges, and the solutions that the ARCS has provided, and the results that they have actually achieved, that they have seen into their financial close also, and in their organization also. Before, what they used to do, they used the Excel spreadsheets, the normal, to perform the accounting reconciliation and this consolidation processes, and it was uh, taken out from the ERP systems that they were using. There were different ERP systems that they were using, and they extracted the sheets from their ERP systems, and then they used to perform the account reconciliations over those spreadsheets that they have been extracted. Now, since there were different ERP systems, the versions of file that were extracted were, of course, different. They were not the same. There was no similarity in all the files that were extracted from the different ERP systems. And since it is a nationwide departmental store, so of course the volumes of transactions were very high. They were very large voluminous transactions that they used to do, and hence the reconciliation was also to be done for those voluminous transactions also only. And there were problems of exchange rates that they were facing, the exchange rate issues. And the last but not the least, very important, was the security issue. Let's say I have got three in the within the nation, I've got 10 departmental stores. So every departmental store has a unique way of working. They have a though they are of the same chain, though they are the chain, but every departmental store, when located at a city, has a different way of working. They might have certain debts, so something they can have within internally also. So there were security and integrity issues that were also faced when performing the reconciliations of the data. And at the end of the month, when a reconciliation has been completed, the report that were generated, that were created, they were manual reports actually. So it took them a lot of time just to create the reports only, because when after you've completed the reconciliation, presenting all the reconciliations in a format that is available to the decision makers to strategize your working of the business or operations, is actually a task where you have to manually create or generate the reports. So or after the Oracle ARCS implementation was done, actually the Oracle ARCS application is very flexible, because it is configured based on the requirements of the client. It is a flexible cloud service where it can be configured as per the client's requirement. Then under those whatever reconciliations are provided, any user, be it the administrator, or I can have 10 personnel who are performing the reconciliations, I can the administrator or whoever is your head can actually divide those reconciliations based on the risks, as in A category, B category, C category, depending on your organization. A being the highest, C being the lowest. This is a very this is the normal prevalent in the within the industry. I can have high risk, low risk reconciliations, medium risk, medium to moderate to high, low to moderate. These are the kinds of risk ratings that I can specify for every reconciliation. For example, a reconciliation of a very minimum amount of 5,000 USD and 5 lakh USD, I can differentiate it on the basis of my risk. 5,000 being a low risk rating reconciliation, and a 5 lakh USD being a high risk rated reconciliation. Also, I can, when I am performing reconciliation manually, when I am performing it via spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, I have to perform every reconciliation, be it of 1,000 USD or 10 lakh USD. I will have to perform it on my own. But here what I can do is I can just put certain rules to the reconciliation profiles. We'll go what our profile, but I can just, let's say there is a cash and bank reconciliation and normal accounts receivables reconciliation or such like that. I can provide a auto submit, auto reconcile rules, where it is going to automatically reconcile if it is within the rules that have been set. It is automatically going to reconcile. So the preparer or the person or personnel will not have to actually perform the reconciliation. If a reconciliation is within the set limits, it is going to automatically reconcile. So this is something that is provided to your organization by Oracle ARCS. And as I've told you, the head of the department can divide the reconciliation based on the uh, entities, based on the department, based on your profile, job profile, or whatever. And hence, only that person to whom the reconciliation is assigned and to whom the reconciliation is submitted to for the purpose of reviewing, only those two people can look at that reconciliation and look at the balances, and the administrator. No fourth person or no third person can actually look into the balances of your reconciliation or look into your reconciliation who is performing in what. So security and risk issues have been addressed very nicely. So with Oracle ARCS, what they got was visibility, automation. There was improved accuracy. The accuracy that was performed for the reconciliation that was performed had improved for that organization, and the security and risks issued had reduced. So as you can see, the results were that they have they have transformed from the Excel spreadsheet to the new generation account reconciliation software. And the results, I've already informed you about the results, so I'm not going to go through the result because I've informed you by the results there and then only. And there is one thing that that skipped my mind after looking at this at the results column. My reconciliations, I can just provide them a frequency, whether they need to be performed monthly or quarterly. So not all the reconciliation I'll have to perform on monthly basis. If the department or the organization thinks that this reconciliation, if performed quarterly, is also totally correct, it is not going to have that much effect, I can provide the frequency to quarterly or monthly, bi-monthly, if it is if reconciliation is to be performed for of an important account, let's say cash in bank, I can perform it bi-monthly also. That is twice a month. So I can actually provide frequencies to that. So not all the reconciliations are going to pop up on your window, on your screen. The reason being the frequencies has been set up. And I can also filter my reconciliations. Reconciliation, I can filter it depending on the amount, depending on the aging, as in how much time has been lapsed, and there are, or the violations or whatever. I can have n number of filters that I can use. There is no limit to it. So Oracle ARCS, Account Reconciliation Cloud Service, actually provides me this whole reconciliation. It enables the automated account reconciliation. It actually effectively manages the whole reconciliation process that is performed by the organization, and comprehensively it is addressing the security issues and the risk issues. Now, when I come down to my Oracle ARCS, Oracle ARCS is the best in class reconciliation solution, and it provides me with two modules. I have got dual modules under Oracle ARCS. First module is the reconciliation compliance, and the second one is my transaction matching. As the names suggest, reconciliation is when you reconcile. That is your normal reconciliation that is performed of reconciling the balances, consolidating, and all those balance check and everything. And transaction matching is when you match the transaction, all the transaction. Let's say I'll give you an example of accounts receivable transaction. So I can provide the base as my invoice number, the date, the amount, and I can match the transaction, intercompany transactions that I have. if I have a parent subsidiary, I got 3 subsidiaries whose statements I consolidate. I prepare a consolidated financial statement as a group for those 3 subsidiaries and my company. So I can, if there are any intercompany transactions also, I can just have my accounts receivables of one subsidiary company and accounts payable of the other subsidiary company, and I can match the transactions also. Instead of just matching the balances, I can match the invoices number, the date, any other attribute pertaining to the transaction. You have a special transaction ID or something, you can match those also. So transaction matching is also provided under my Oracle ARCS application. Reconciliation compliance provides when I am, hello? I suppose there was a disturbance, so I'll just start over. In case if I'm not audible, just please provide me under the chat section that I'm not audible. Yes, I was under the reconciliation compliance. Compliance actually provides me with the reconciliation processes where I can match the balances, where I can actually reconcile the balances of 2 different accounts. I can match whether this balance matches this GL to sub ledgers balance check that we perform in our reconciliation processes. Processes provides me with that. Consolidation check, balance sheet, account analysis. Format or the method is actually provided where you have to where you can actually analyze your single account only. When a reconciliation is manually, when it is conducted, the time is only gone into match the balances, match the transactions or something. But when I am having a reconciliation compliance under the ARCS application, I can also check, analyze the within accounts, as in, let's say my short-term debts, if I have, I can analyze as in these debts are pertaining to which amount, what is the explanation, what is the adjustment, what is the reason these short-term debts have arisen, and everything. I can conduct in within account analysis, and this can be done, the reason being my time which is taken for the reconciliation process has reduced, so I can channelize my time into productive tasks. Even into reconciliation, there are n number of things that you can do so that you can be better than your competitors, and you can be you can have a competitive advantage over in the industry. There are various things that under reconciliation that you can perform as an organization. There is no, of course, there is no one perfect, so you can just move on towards perfection for the Oracle with the Oracle ARCS application. And of course, there are compliance requirements that can be looked upon when I am performing the reconciliations through the Oracle ARCS cloud. Now, when today we'll be taking up the reconciliation compliance process. So there are basically 4 or 5 steps reconciliation compliance process that we have. So the reconciliation process is completed into 5 steps actually. Here are the 4 steps that are, and then the 5th one is to just monitor it. We'll be going through them. The first is the load the data into the system. Step 1 starts when the step 1 starts. The process of each period is when you have to load the balances for every period into of the system and the subsystem if you are reconciling between 2 accounts. So one will be a subsystem, the other one will be the source system, and the one other will be the subsystem. Example being GL to general ledger to sub ledger accounts. Let's say accounts receivable. So my source system can be GL, that is my general ledger, and subsystem can be accounts receivables sub ledger balance. So the first step is I have to update the balances for the period end. at the end of the period, I am going to upload the balance into my system, that is Oracle ARCS cloud, so that I can perform the reconciliations process. So now here under the loading balances thing of my ARCS, we have the flexibility to import the data using a pre-mapped data or with data management. The balances can be refreshed as often as required, and if a balance changes after the reconciliation has already been certified, it will be decertified and assigned back to the preparer for revalidation of my latest balance. So I can perform a reconciliation on the same account as many times as the balance is changing in the at that point for that period. And I can again prepare the reconciliation, submit it to the reviewer or the authorizer, the approver, whatever you call it, you fit to call that, is going to certify the reconciliation again. Sorry. So loading the data is the first step. Now when I come down to my second step is the auto reconciliation, or the automation of my automation is automatically executed. So here I have an auto reconciliation, like methods that I have is account analysis, balance comparison, and custom auto reconciliation criteria. I can customize an auto reconciliation criteria, as in any amount, any date, any variance percentage. If the variance is within a percentage of, let's say, a 10 variance of an account from month over month is not more than 10%, it is going to automatically reconcile. So this is an custom auto reconciliation criteria that I have put up. And I have got account analysis and balance comparison also. Account analysis is within the account I'm analyzing, as I had given an example of short-term debt, or short-term investments. These are the examples that I'm giving you for the purpose of reconciliation that can be performed under account analysis. Then you can just analyze the accounts, as in why has the variance occurred, what is the changes in the account and everything. Balance comparison is simple reconciliation in normal sense that people understand, is comparing the balances of two different accounts. One is a GL and a subledger accounts that I've given an example of. So subsystem source system comes into consideration of two different systems, comes into consideration of balance comparison. And there are things like I can copy the forward of previous activities based on the rules. I can actually set rules where I can carry forward the previous activities, the previous adjustments that have been done. I do not have, the task is not redundant that I'll have to perform it every month. I can just the adjustments that are done into the system can be carry forward depending on the rules. If they are set properly, they are going to just carry forward, and the next reconciliation I'll only have to provide an explanation to the balance if I am, or only reconcile for the balances of the period, because the last month's explanations of balance or whatever adjustments are done to the balances is already present there. With the auto reconciliation, there is also a provision which is there, with which you can actually get a notification of which reconciliation submitted, which reconciliation is there for you to review, which reconciliation is open with you for the purpose of preparing, depending on your allocation of reconciliations. So no email notifications is something that you're getting from your ARCS application on the reconciliation submitted, performed, approved, or whatever. And while in the auto reconciliation process also, the Oracle ARCS application is going to test the thresholds for your variance analysis. When I am performing a variance analysis, it is going to test the thresholds. I can calculate amortization, I can also run various number of rules within the reconciliation, which is going to be carry forward month over month. I'll not have to set a rule every month. Once the reconciliation profile has been created, we'll go through what are profiles and everything. Once the reconciliation profile has been created, I can assign rules to that particular profile, and it will be carry forward, or it will be followed. The rule shall be followed month over month. No changes have to be made. Just one time, all the creation for your application, depending on your requirements, need to be made. Then month over month, you only have to create the reconciliation, submit it, and approve it. These are the 3 steps. Your whole reconciliation process cuts down to a 3 process system. Moving on, the third one is to notify and prepare the reconciliation. Sorry. Notify and prepare the reconciliation. Notification, as I have informed you, email notification shall be provided to you that this is the reconciliation that has been assigned to you, and you need to prepare it. You need to review it depending on the role that you have under the reconciliation system of your organization. And preparers will, after the administrator or whoever is your administrator, the accounts personnel, your head, you can have a different way of looking at things. You can have your own organization's structure for reconciliation. So whoever is the preparer, after this load of the balances have been loaded, reconciliations ID have been created, and rules have been set, now the preparer will log into the ARCS application with his unique ID and password, and is going to prepare the reconciliations. Now, when I am logging in with my own ID and password, I can only see the reconciliations and the balances that have been loaded to that reconciliation, and no other reconciliation that is either prepared by any other preparer or is to be reviewed or something. Only that I have been assigned to, only I am going to see those reconciliations that I am responsible for, being a preparer or whoever is the preparer. There is thing under ARCS that reconciliations, when they are configured, that I had already informed that configuration is a one-time process that needs to be done. When reconciliations are configured, they are configured on the basis of your company's objectives, policies. So configurable formats are delivered with the solutions, and they actually ensure standardization and compliance requirements for on the basis of your company's policies, objectives. And it is an add-on for the preparer and the reviewer on what key points to keep in mind when preparing a reconciliation and when approving or reviewing the reconciliation. Like I have informed you about the rules. Rules are one of the best things that have been provided by ARCS, where they actually define you within the lines, as in only these things you can provide, you can do within the line for the purpose of standardization, the compliance requirements of your reconciliation. Now, coming to the fourth part is my reviewing of the reconciliation. I've been saying that preparing, reviewing, preparing, reviewing. We've seen the preparer's role. So once the preparer is going to perform the reconciliation, provide an explanation if the balances are not matching. If the balances are matching, is going to submit the reconciliation depending on the rules and everything that have been assigned and allocated to the profile. Once the reconciliation has been submitted, then the reviewers' roles come into existence. Reconciliations are reviewed to ensure the policy and compliance requirements are met. Tools within the reconciliations that are present, like comments, instructions, attachments, tick mark features, everything are available for the reviewer along with the preparer, so that standardization is there for the reconciliation that is performed, and the communication that is there between the reviewer and the preparer. Not every time the communication is going to take time. The preparer can attach a comment into the comment section of the reconciliation that this was the reason for the difference between the balance or something like that. and the reviewer can just look at that comment into the from the comment section, and if he thinks or she thinks that the explanation is reasonable enough, then can just approve the reconciliation or reassign it, reject it, depending on the reviewer's point of view of looking at the reconciliation and the reasons. So this is my 4 steps of my reconciliations process. Now coming down is the 5th step is to monitor. Throughout the whole process of my reconciliation, the organization's personal responsible, the financial team have instant visibility of the reconciliation cycle, as in I do not have to get a report asks a certain person, as in where has the reconciliation till where have the reconciliation reached. You can actually just log in from your ID or ID password and have a visibility, and can look into the reconciliation process, as in where is it pending, either with the preparer or with the reviewer, what are the things that have been assigned, what are the attachments that have been attached, any comments that if has been passed, all of these can be provided for the reconciliation monitoring. So the communication between the teams, if not possible, but still real-time visibility is there under Oracle ARCS. So since we've talked so much about Oracle ARCS, we'll just yes. So we've got down to our Oracle ARCS cloud. This is the application, the Oracle ARCS application. As you can see, the dashboards are are self-explanatory enough, as in what is what. This is the work list, reconciliations, matching for the transaction matching module, dashboards, reports. I also have the reports that are created and can be generated. I can create a customized report also, depending on my organization's needs, policies, and objectives. Application, the configuration, tools, and academy. These are the tabs on the front that are present. Now let us just go through the configuration part on the starting. This is just an overview. We are just going to get an overview of the whole application. So as you can see, this is these are the attributes. Attributes as in on which basis you're going to provide a filter, on which basis you're going to provide an explanation or something. So attributes, if I give you an example, they can be your accounting date, invoice numbers, a debit amount, a credit amount, or a simple amount, any adjustable debit amount, adjustable credit amount, the currency code, and all these can be your attributes, the basis on which you're going to either filter your reconciliations or create a format or something like that. So these are the attributes. We'll go one by one when we'll be looking into them. So these are the system attributes. So system attributes is let us just look into the profiles and the segments of the profile. Profile is basically, let's say I am having a reconciliation of cash and bank account. So a profile will be created for that particular reconciliation. Every reconciliation, one profile is created. That is the meaning of my profile or the reconciliation account ID. A separate, unique profile ID is created so that I can upload the balances and create reconciliation based on the ID. So profiles are basically, every reconciliation is classified into a profile. Cash and bank, so I'll have one profile pertaining to my cash and bank reconciliation. Accounts payable of company A and accounts payable of company B, if I am a group where I have a parent subsidiary relationship, so that will be one profile. So here you can have as many profiles as you require, depending on the your organization scale. and your organization's policies of your accounts reconciliation. Now, how is a profile created? Profile is a segmented number, segmented way of, or a unique ID, where if I just put it in simple words, it is a unique ID that is provided. It contains a company account. I can have n number of segments into a profile. I can have the various strings under my profile ID. Like here, I have only the company and the account, because I am not a group. I do not have any subsidiary. I do not have any parent or something. I do not work in a group. So I am a single company, a domestic company. So I only have the company profile or the company ID and the account number or the account ID. If you are a MNC, you can have just by my example, if I'm taking, you can have a company ID also, department ID, account ID, all of these. So I can have the strings of I can have 3 segments of my profile here. I have only 2 segments. You can have 3 to 4 to 5, as many segments as you want to. Like here, I can have company, I have account, I can add a department, I can add another entity ID or something like that. Whatever is your way of working in the organization, you can have those much segments into the profile. We are looking the main parts today. So once we have gone through the profile segments, these are the processes as in balance sheet process, variance analysis, and consolidation check. So balance sheet items are basically the items that are presented. I'm just providing you the working pattern and not these exact definitions of things, the working basis patterns that I'm telling you. Balance sheet items, the items or the account matching, if I put it like that, the account reconciliations, as in the balance sheet accounts. Then variance analysis, let's say I have expenses, a certain kind of expense, a construction expense, prepaid expenses, or anything where I have to judge as in what is the variance month over month or period over period, how much expenses I have incurred month over month on a single account. Let's say prepaid expenses or any construction expense, it can be anything or any way. So I can just perform a variance analysis in that account. And consolidations check, those are intercompany. Then here comes is the next is the risk rating. So as you can see, I have 3 to 4 risk rating types. I can also create A category, B category, C category risks, where A being the highest and C being the lowest. Or you can create high to moderate, moderate to low. All of these categories you can create when depending on your organization's working pattern. And as I'd informed you, I can also assign frequencies to my reconciliation. Frequencies mean I have only 2 frequencies. As I said, the current example that I'm taking, I'm a medium enterprise or a medium entity. So I perform reconciliation either monthly or quarterly. You can have bi-monthly, semi-annually, 2 times a quarter or something, or by quarter or something like that frequency, as your organization wants to keep. Depend, as I've said, it is a customer, it can be customized depending on the organization's uh, working patterns and operations. So you can have a different frequencies also. And the account types, that are your accounts, basically the assets, liabilities, equity, and all those account type. So you can just classify broadly these account types as current liabilities, and variations on the account types. I can also set a standard or special aging profile. Like here, I have a standard aging profile, which says 0 to 30 days, 30 to 60, 61 to 90. All these are the standard aging profiles that are followed across the industry. You can have different aging profiles if you want, or different aging classifications if you want. If your organization has deals under services and product, services usually have a different aging basis than the products. So you can set a service aging profile also, and a product aging profile, or a product aging basis also. And there are of course many things we'll be looking into one by one. Currency rates, I can define the currency rates, but since I am a single entity working, a domestic entity rather, I'm working within the country only, so I only have USD as my currency. Currency buckets that are usually that is actually provided by ARCS are three types of currency buckets that are provided: uh, functional bucket, entered, and the reporting. I can have a different entered currency, different functional currency, and a different performing reporting currency. And I can also set my rate types: average, opening, closing. These are the various rate types that are usually used in the industry: average rates, closing rates, on the date rates, spot rates, and all those kinds of rates that are usually used. I can specify it beforehand. So I can just when I am performing creating a profile and performing the reconciliation, I'll just have to specify the rate type, and not all the things I need to specify again and again for every profile. I can just set the rate types here, and I can use it on all my profiles. So as you can see, the configuration part is the main part of, or the starting part for configuring your ARCS application. And after you've configured all of these, the next step is you can start making the profiles. The reason configuration is important before making the or creating the profiles, the reason being profiles uses the features, the characteristics of my configuration. So this is the data loads section used for the data management. And filters, I can create as many filters as I want, like 180 plus days, the reconciliations that have crossed 180 plus days, 90 plus days, aging violations, a filter or where a cash unexplained, the difference between the balances is more than 10K, high risk reconciliations that are open with the preparer or the reviewer. Variance alert, I can set the variance percentage and apply the filter, and I'll get a list of all those reconciliations or the profiles where which shows a variance alert of more than 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever the rate that you have set. Unexplained difference, as in no difference explanation, as in just a difference as there I can see between my source system and my subsystem. So that is an unexplained difference under ARCS. So I can also apply the filter of unexplained difference more than $5,000, where any difference that is appearing into the reconciliations profile more than $5,000, it is going to provide me a list of all those reconciliations. And along with that, I can put a filter of open with the preparer. So all those reconciliations which have an unexplained difference more than $5,000 and is still open with the preparer, uh, I can again put a filter of that have aged for more than 90 days, all of that. So I'll get all the reconciliations as per my wants and needs. And here comes the most important part of my reconciliation are the formats that I use. So instead of creating the profile, the whole profile, the way of doing the formats and providing all the formats again and again, I have just there are formats that have been created by under Oracle ARCS application, like accounts payable, receivable, current assets, current liabilities, depreciation, equity, the usual reconciliations that we have. We can of course make a customized format depend as per our organization also. So all these formats have been created, zero balance formats for the accounts that are going to have a zero balance at the end of the month or the after reconciliation and everything. So all these are formats that are there for my under Oracle ARCS application. What is done is, as you can see, let us take accounts receivables. So just for the moment, I'm taking the accounts receivable format. So I have just set the accounts receivable format here. This is the format balance comparison, because usually under accounts reconciliation, receivables reconciliation, what is done is balance comparison between the source system and the subsystem. Source system can be mostly is the GL, that is your general ledger, and subsystem is your sub ledger's accounts receivables balance. So here I have set the format. Now I can use this format under all my accounts receivables profiles that I'm created, or also in any other reconciliation if I think that this format is suitable for that type of reconciliation, which contains a balance comparison method. I can use it in any other. It is not important that I should use it for the specifically the accounts reconciliation profile. I can use it for any profile if I think that it is fit for that profile's reconciliation type. Now here I can also change the name to GL and subledger AR, that is accounts receivables. Here it is the source system, here it is the subsystem. If I want, I can just change it to general ledger balance. Here it totally depends on your organization. What are the jargons, what are the languages that they want to use, that is used within your organization, so it is easy to understand on your organization terminologies. Then adjustments to source system, I can put it as adjustments to my GL if I have any adjustments. These are the tabs columns that are shown. Tabs are basically, as you can see, subsystem adjustment, system adjustment. These are the tabs, and columns as in the columns that you can see. These are the column, this is the label. So these are the columns and these are the tabs. So these are the tabs where I have a balance summary. Under balance summary, I'll have a column of source system and the subsystem. Then on the other tab, I'll have adjustment to the source system and adjustment to the subsystem when I'm going to open the reconciliation, not here in the format. I'm just telling you for your understanding purpose. So I'll have adjustment to source system. I can change the name to adjustment to GL, adjustment to my subledger accounts receivable, group detail if I want to. I've been given of hiding and unhiding the tabs and columns if I want to, so as to decrease my confusion for the preparer, so that is more appealing and clear to my preparer and the reviewer on the reconciliations. Then I have a beginning balance. If let's say I am uploading the balance twice, thrice, again and again, so the beginning balance tab will be there. I can hide it also. I can unhide it. Like here, I've hidden it so that it doesn't create confusion. I can also unhide it. Then the net activity, as in what is the total activity that has happened, the total adjustment to the subsystem, source system that have been happened. I prefer hiding it so that it doesn't create confusion to the preparer. Then ending balance, difference, of course, the difference that is present in your source system, subsystem. Adjustments, what are the adjustments that are done to the source system or your subsystem. Then after the adjustments, what is the adjusted balance? So first is my ending balance, the difference that is created. Let's say general ledger has $10,000 balance showing under accounts receivables, and accounts receivable ledger has a balance of 15,000. So my difference is 5,000 USD. I've provided adjustments for 5,000 USD. It is going to show me the adjustments for the sub ledgers let's say I want to decrease the balance of my subledger accounts receivable by 5,000. So it will be showing minus 5,000, and the adjusted balance for both the systems as 10,000, 10,000, and any unexplained difference that is showing. We so that you understand when we go to the reconciliations tab. So here are the system adjustments. When I am providing an adjustment to my system or the subsystem, source system or the subsystem, when I'm providing an adjustment, what are the attributes that I'll be using? On what attributes I'll be providing a description of, like a short description, as in I can give a reason for the explanation, like an omission or error in writing or omission of an entry. This can be a short description. The transaction date, the date pertaining to those error or the error in the transferring or anything. Long description is a multi-line text, means that what is the long description, like Mr. ABC omitted this entry on this date due to which the balance is arising. So this can be a long description. The impact, how is it going to provide an impact on balance sheet or the income statement if I am providing? Does that adjustment requires the journal entry or not? So these are the attributes that I think is fit for my organization's adjustment tab. I mean, if the description on these attributes are given, it will be reasonable enough to say that the reconciliation has been created and performed. And the subsystem also have almost the similar manner. Transaction date, short date, long description, and all. Also, I can include the amount from here. I can add the amount where I can provide the amount of error, amount of omission, or whatever is the reason for your balance explanations. So I've just saved and closed. These are all the formats that are there. Some are these are the created formats depending on the organization's need. And these are the lists for the reconciliation compliance, as in the group accounts that I have, group profiles. I can create a list of accounts payables. All those profiles under the accounts payable account type will be created under a list. So I'll get a list of all the account payables reconciliation profiles. So here, these are the meaning of the lists. We'll go through it in detail afterwards. And these are the calendars. If I am a multinational company, I can have different calendars depending on the organization's working into different countries. Usually, there are different calendars that are followed, different working days. Some have 5 working days, some have 6 working days. There are different holidays, so a different holiday structure, and everything can be provided under here, so that the working days count, the violations, the aging of days, and everything is counted depending on the organization calendars and the rules. And these are the units. If I have 3 different units, let's say within a country also, I can have 4 units: west region, central region, east region, north region, south region, northeast region. So I can just divide the whole organization into different units on the working patterns of my organization, and I can just perform the reconciliation on the basis of the unit, so that it is easy for the reconciliations to be assigned and reviewed and prepared. So this depends on your organizational structure. These are the periods, that is the as you can see, June 2020, where I'll just specify which is the prior period, the start date for the period, the end date. Now the period has been defined specifically because usually companies have a different end date. Some end on some companies end their month on 25th and want the reconciliations to be completed till 30th. and so that they can start a fresh month from first. Some end on the 30th of the month and perform the reconciliation or end the reconciliation, close the reconciliation until the 10th, 5th, or 15th of the next month. So I can assign or define a period depending on my organization's working pattern. And these are my system settings, as in the comment addition, deletion, bulk updates. If I want to just update all my profiles at once at the end of my month, I can update all the profiles at once. Rows of the dashboards, data load, data management time, due date reminder notifications. Sorry. Email notifications. So these are the basically system settings, not anything to be specifically for the reconciliation process, but these are the system settings that helps to automate and the whole reconciliation process. Now we have seen the configuration part also. Sorry. We'll be just looking at the any one reconciliation profile. Since we've seen accounts receivables format only, let us just take an example of the reconciliation of profile ID for accounts receivable only. So this is a profile. As I have already informed, I am a domestic company, so my profile segments are basically the account and the company. My company ID is 101 and 12101 is my account ID for accounts receivable. These are the processes. We have seen this balance sheet, variance analysis and consolidation check, risk rating, depending on what you have set under the risk rating tab. Account type, we have account type is the accounts receivable. Normal balance that happens is the debit balance is the normal balance for my accounts receivable. Format, the account receivable format that I have used, I can specify the organizational unit. So this particular type of accounts receivable reconciliation is for the North American organizational unit. And the method is automatically taken from the format. So my format is accounts receivable. The method it is going to take is my balance comparison, which means the source system compared to my subsystem balance. So I can, as I had informed you, I can actually give the auto reconciliation rules. Like if the balance is 0, it is going to auto reconcile, balance match as per the tolerance, amount in tolerance. Let's say if the balance from the balance between the source system and the subsystem, the difference or the percentage difference is 2% or 3%, then it is going to auto reconcile. So these are the certain rules that are provided in the auto reconciliation. I can also create certain rules customized to my organization also under this rules tab. And maximum age limit is for the reconciliation adjustment is 30 days. After 30 days, I cannot perform any adjustment to the reconciliation. These are the instructions if the administrator, whoever is the person, wants to provide the preparer and the reviewer so that compliance analysis can be done. Like here, the administrator has put a URL as in how a reconciliation shall be taken for the accounts receivables account. Now here comes is the workflow pattern, as in who is going to prepare and who is going to review. Here, this is a list of all those names that will be under the list of AR preparers will be performing that. I can also change it to a single person's name. Let's say any other person, if I want to assign, I can also assign the that any ABC to preparer's role. Like here, since it is the list, so requires the action is required by any preparer. So any preparer whose name is in the list of AR preparers can perform the reconciliation. I've set the frequency. I have set the schedule from, as in the end date or the close date. As I had informed you, close date and end date is different in the organization. Close date is usually 30th, and the end date is usually my 30th, and close date is 5th of the next month. So it totally depends on the organization's working pattern. And this is the list for the AR reviewers. So any reviewer can review and approve the reconciliation. Here I have defined the currency, that is currency buckets, and the currency code that I will be using. We'll go through it in detail in different sessions. Attributes, I've already provided you with the attributes. Rules: if the reviewer status is blank, reconciliation shall be rejected. So this is a rule that I have been created under the rules section. I can define n number of rules. We'll be looking the rules creation and everything. So I am just going to save and close my reconciliation profile ID. Now, after I have created the reconciliation profile ID, I am going to go to my periods tab, and there is a network issue, I suppose. I'm sorry for that. Yes. So as you can see, this is my period tab, which contains all the periods that I have already opened for the under my periods section of the configuration. So these are those periods that are showing over here. This is my, as you can see, there is a difference between the status that you can see. Green ones are basically the periods that are open for the purpose of reconciliation. Yellow ones are the reconciliations period that have been closed, means reconciliations have been performed and the reviewer has, or the administrator have closed the period for that period for the purpose of reconciliation. And these mean they are either pending, they haven't been opened, they haven't been done anything with that. So the status has never been changed, they are just created. Reconciliations need to be created and performed for that purpose of for the purpose of these periods. In order to change my status of the period, I can just go from these actions tab, set the status. Since it is already open, so I cannot click on open, it is not active. Closed and logged are active. I can also close a period and lock it. Locking and closing are two different. A closed period can be opened, but a locked period cannot be opened from the preparers or reviewers side. It requires special permission from the administrator. Because a locked period, any reconciliation, any changes for that period cannot be performed. So moving on, I'll just show you the. So this is my pre-mapped sheet, that is the data template for the purpose of uploading my reconciliations balances to my reconciliations ID. As you can see, this is my reconciliation ID. This is the currency code and the amount. So reconciliation account ID is basically my profile ID, which consists of here in my case, it consists of the account and the company. Currency code, since I am a domestic company, USD is my entered function and reporting currency. Had I been a multinational company, my entered currency, let's say, might have been INR, or reporting currency might have been GBP. So I would use the currency code depending on the currency bucket that I'm using for the purpose of uploading the balance. And this is the amount that I want to upload pertaining to that particular account, let's say. Coming back to my account reconciliation. So as you can see, let me just check the profile that we have the Excel sheet for. here, these are the short-term debts profile for which I have my Excel sheet for. Since I was working, so I have my short-term debts profile under my Excel sheet open. Yes, so under from the periods tab, I am just going, let's say I need to perform the reconciliation for the purpose of April 2019. The reason being it is already open, so it is better instead of opening it and closing it. I am just going to import the balance from here. So here I am going to choose the file. So here I'm just going to choose the file. This is my file that I want. Just a moment. Yes, so this is the file that I want to be uploaded. Balance type, this here is source system. Period I can choose, but since it is already present here, April 2019. Currency bucket, as I'd informed you, there are 3 types of currency buckets that are offered by ARCS. I want to perform the functional currency bucket. The reason being I'm a domestic company. You can also perform a different take a different currency bucket depending on your organization's working patterns. Comma delimited profile, and I'm just going to import it. So importing is actually going on. So as you can see, I can also look at the results from here. As the properties, these are the results of my the loading of the balance. As you can see, the staging, data load, everything has been completed for that particular profile. Now I'm just going to run the reconciliation. Now, in order to run the reconciliation, I'll have to create it so that I can perform the reconciliation. Reconciliations creation can be done from the periods also, as you can see from here. Create reconciliations. But since today we are just going through the as an overview for a particular profile, I can also go here and I can create a reconciliation for this particular profile from the profile section as well. Now, since I was performing reconciliation for this particular profile, so it is already running, but I'm just showing you how it is going to look at while I'm creating a reconciliation. For the selected profile, I am creating a reconciliation. And as I'd already informed you, my reconciliation is already running since I was already performing the reconciliation. So here it is showing an unsuccessfully copied. Had it not been already running, I can also view the details over here. Yes, so the profile, this is already running. This is the reason that it has not been successfully copied. Had my reconciliation not been running, had I created a profile for the first time, it would have shown successfully copied as 1, and all the reconciliation would have been created. So closing it from here, the next step is I will have to check whether the reconciliation, the amount that I have uploaded, the amount that I have loaded into my system has gone to the right profile as per the right currency bucket, and whether it is available for the purpose of reconciliation with the preparer. Now, when I come down to here, I will have to change the period. But since my period of April 2019 was already running, which we are performing the reconciliation, so I didn't change the period. But let's say I want to prepare a reconciliation for a different period, let's say June 2019, June 2020. I would click it and it would show here under the selected. So all the reconciliations pertaining to these two periods will be showing. But since we are only wanting April 2019's reconciliations to be shown, so here we are where my reconciliation has been created for this particular profile. The balance that we had updated was on the source system, which is showing correctly. And I have, let me just open this reconciliation. As I've already informed that I was working on this reconciliation. So reconciliation has been updated and balance explanations have been provided, but I will just show you the whole step and we'll perform the reconciliation the next session maybe. So as I was saying, these are the different tabs and these are the columns that we were discussing in the format section. So these are the summary, balance explanation, adjustments. These are the tabs and these are my columns. Columns are where I have the ending balance for the source system. Had I had a subsystem, I would have an ending balance for my subsystem also. Balance explanation, it has been already provided by the preparer because now I had prepared the reconciliation for this particular reconciliation for this particular profile. Yes, so and the difference, if there was a difference, it would have shown here. Adjustments, if were done, only balance explanations have been provided. Now, for the purpose of performing the reconciliation, this depends on the organization, the person who is performing the reconciliation. But let me just give you an overview on what is a difference between the balance explanation and the adjustment. For the balance explanation, you explain every amount that is present on your account to the reviewer, as in why is this balance actually showing into my account. And adjustment is to increase or decrease the amounts for my account. The reason being, there has been an error in transferring. There has been an error in in writing the amounts. There had been an omission in an amount or something like that might have happened, and hence I am providing an adjustment. I'll also show you from here only balance explanation. So this is the balance explained. Let's see what Mr. Whoever is the preparer have provided. Balance explained. Please refer to the Excel sheet attached with the reconciliation. And a reconciliation has been provided. A reconciliation amount explanation has been provided of 50,000. And as you can see, this is my attachment that Mr. Frank Taylor, who was the preparer for this organization, for this reconciliation for the purpose for my organization, has provided for the as an attachment to this reconciliation. So instead of providing explanations for each amount that is present in the account, I can attach the Excel sheet. And the adjustment, since nothing has been provided by Mr. Taylor, that is nothing available. Had there been a wrong amount or an omission and error, adjustment would have been provided by the preparer. And now it is submitted. Now, as you can see, the status also. I do not need to go and ask to my team as in what is the status. Now it is looking that the status is open with the reviewer, not the preparer. So that means that the preparer has submitted and performed the reconciliation. Now it is up to the reviewer to review the reconciliation and approve it or reject it or reassign it to a different user. So these are basically this was just an overview for my whole reconciliation compliance process. It also has a transaction module that I have already informed. It is a dual module working, reconciliations and the transaction matching. Transaction matching overview shall be taken up in the next session on next Saturday. And here for this reconciliation compliance, this was the basic overview for my this was the basic overview of the reconciliations compliance. And in case of any questions or any anything that are required from our side on the basis of this session, if any questions or any doubts can be, you can just reach out to us at www.vispsolutions.com. So that was all for my session on my today's session. Any questions or anything can be just forwarded to BISP solution. The reason being that we have just outgrown the time that we have been provided. We have just crossed the limit of our time. So in case of any doubts or anything, you just reach out to us at BISP Solutions website, and I would just answer your doubts and everything there. Thank you so much.